Brad, how you doing today?
Scott, how are you?
Hello, hello.
Thank you for the introduction. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone who is attending our webinar, thank you for coming here. That's the first thing that we all at Trade Ideas want to say. We know that lots of people compete for your attention, and we're grateful for the attention that you give us. Even the regulars, we love you guys. In fact, Brad, once we tell them what they're about to see, you guys are going to be able to tell your friends some very important, like, get smart level chamber of silence information. Brad, you're old enough to know what that means.
A little bit of Get Smart reference right there, huh?
Okay, that's correct. But before we get into any of the complicated references to Get Smart, Dukes of Hazzard, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, or any other shows that I grew up with one day at a time, we must first disclaim everything that I'm going to tell you today. Brad and I are not registered investment advisors. We don't know any investment advisors who work at Trade Ideas, and nothing
we do know some, but not at Trade.
We do know some of them, but none of them are employed by us, and therefore nothing that we say should be construed as a solicitation to purchase or sell any security at all. Moving right along.
Good disclaimer.
You know, there could be a compilation of my disclaimers. I have to tell you, there's just lots of different stuff. Hey, Brad. Hey, if you notice at the left-hand side of this slide, is that possibly the icon for Omni?
That's a nice looking icon. Yeah, it might be. Scotty
boy, Rudy. All right, guys, back to the program. We're doing, by the way, we didn't drift too far off topic here. Brad and I have got lots of stuff going on, but our sold out event, thank you to Scott's fantastic marketing work, where he makes us look good, Brad, but we didn't do anything.
Definitely Scott's what Scott does, for sure.
Scott put this together, the whole marketing team, obviously, and him and Rudy. The event is sold out. But now you can register to live stream, and lots of people, of course, if you cannot make it, this is a great opportunity to check everything else and have it on. One of the cool things about this event, Brad, we've talked about it, and I want to just glance over it, is that, simply put, this is a way where a place where you can see us, talk to us, see who we are behind the superhero, capes and secret identities that we keep out there in the world of social media, et cetera, where we fight crime and rescue the free world of modern fintech. Dr. Brett Steenbarger, PhD, really good kind of center point to this presentation, because he's going to be talking about the psychology of success, and we're going to be talking about how we've implemented what he's talking about into the software. We're going to discuss all of that. JC talks about chart patterns. Brian Shannon talks about another way to look at the chart patterns that also are useful. Again, there's different artists, different ways to approach the game. Everybody here is an expert, and we think it's probably going to be our best rated one so far, Brett, in my opinion.
Third annual.
I'm very excited about it. Guys, so this is an intro. And Brad, you may ask yourself, Dan, what are you doing throwing up old school stuff here?
Old, new, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really is pretty consistently finding good stuff. So
it is, but it's not about. That's not what we're. Hold on one second here. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're just showing you the word artificial intelligence. What does it mean? Okay, I want to really quickly just digest it for you. It is a way to, without having a human there, look at stocks and decide, non-human-like, but in different ways, get a feel and execute a system that you know works based on the analysis that you yourself do. You yourself meaning the computer. We've taught the computer to teach itself how to invest like it was a human. Because here's the funny thing. And I think, Brad, philosophically speaking, this is where the quants lose it all. You know, you put a bunch of quants together, and what do you end up having? You have high frequency trading firms like Citadel and Two Sigma that are about to be made illegal, because at the end of the day, all these things are the fish that are scraping the glass of the aquarium, something that we've talked about often. You know, they're not really there to help. They're just there to scrape the glass, to get some for themselves, and that's it. Slimy little fish that they are. But that's where technology has been focused. You see, guys, they never really focused on the speculative art, because hedge funds, as Brad and I found out in a previous version of this movie called Future Trade Technologies, where we were also very exciting executives, but much younger, more handsome possibly.
A different
There's different guys, but you know, we found out that hedge funds do not trade the way you guys trade. Okay? This is the big misnomer. When you think you want to trade like a hedge fund, well, yeah, duh. Well, they pay for their information. You know, it's like, hey, Bobby, Betsy slept with the accountant. And by the way, you know, I got to say it. If you unwind Wall Street, Brad, you know, the great movie with Michael Douglas, Gordon Gekko. I mean, think at the end of the day, they basically lied to become janitors at the thingy to be able to steal the document, you know, get some insider info. Once you got that, everybody's a winner. So when you find out that that's how the world had worked, well, you know, you have to start from scratch, and that's what we did when we approached this thought process of, well, you know, we got to really change the world, the whole world of speculators and investors. What can we do? I said, well, you know what? Let's put a foundation of logic that lets you feel supply and demand mathematically, but pretend that you're a person and not this gigantic trillion-dollar institution that's looking for 40 basis points. Nobody can relate to that. But making like 7% in one day, that's something that we can relate to. So it's a completely different thought process, because the quants at the hedge funds, when, you know, the ones at the bottom in the dungeon, by the way, there's no windows there. They don't feed them all the time.
Where's that, in the dungeon?
In the quant dungeon in New Jersey, where they keep them co-located. The quants are co-located at the dungeon of the servers, where there's also no windows. But they don't know how, because you see, the quants themselves also have never invested. So it's kind of like bizarre for them. They try to figure out, well, you know what would really work well? If when we clamped onto the glass, if our suckers were more powerful. So, you know, so they locate the suckers right next to the exchanges and so on and so forth. That's not what we did. So the reason this slide is here first is to tell you is that if you look at the charts and you look at what's going on, right, and you look at the lines, our software was mathematically taught to approach investing like you, a person. Hey, I'm getting in. I don't want to lose my ass. I'd like to stay in as long as I can, but I'm also not going to like want to give up all my money. Did I just not explain trading, Brad?
Well, you know, I mean.
Well, you know what's funny, but nobody does it this way.
Well,
you know,
it's interesting, though. Can I say something? I mean, you kind of, you're laying the foundation here, but you're laying it kind of 15 years in, and there's like 15 years of tech that's gone into what we do here at Trade Ideas, first spotting ideas and finding things that are abnormal in the market, and then alerting you to that information, but then being able to optimize it. And then what Dan's saying is getting to the point where we're generating these ideas with trading plans attached to it. So, I mean, it's a whole evolution of the technology that we built is kind of what he's showing you right here.
If any of you are old enough to know George Orwell's Animal Farm, we are Boxer the horse, okay? We are the ones who are working really hard so that you, excuse me, so that you don't have to. And of course, we all still have to, but the point is, it's like Brad said, it was invented right. And that's why nobody really can compete with us, okay? Because it didn't, you would have had to have started off the exact same way. All right, let's move along because it's about to get exciting. Remember, Brad, I said the audience here, you're going to be really good friends for your friends. You're in the right place. You're at the right time. And this webinar is very important. I can only use so much comedy to keep your attention. But the clock is ticking right now. We are in the 3rd day of October. On the last day of November, you will no longer be able to get Trade Ideas Brokerage Plus in beta, okay? We probably haven't even announced all of that, but you guys know this. So the ones who are schmiggling and tinkering on the edge and whatever, I mean, it's like you just woke up on third base and they're like, run home, make it. You're what? Bring it in. You're about to hit a triple.
I don't think it, I think it's important to kind of have some history to understand kind of how we treat our customers, to realize the benefit that's going to be offered here and has been offered to everybody that's a subscriber, a premium subscriber of Trade Ideas. So like I said earlier, we've been doing this for 18 years. We've got people, we've raised our rates, of course, through the years. I think our initial rate was like $35 or something like that a month. And
it was 45.
45 a month. I think it was a little less. But
like the president.
Doesn't matter. It was pretty cheap. And so we still have a few people that have been subscribers that whole time on that rate. There was a time when we offered the premium service. We called it just the odds maker, but it was kind of our premium offering. And there was a point where we gave people a one-time opportunity to buy it for $1,100, and then they would never need to pay for that premium subscription again. Then we continue to raise rates. So I mean, the thing is that if you're locked in as a subscriber, you really do get the benefit of the grandfathering of all of these rates. We don't raise your rate in that regard at all. So
Brad,
what we're offering here is kind of cool.
Brad, you're super sweet, and thank you for bringing all of that in. Yeah, we never changed. The only way your rates change is if you cancel, which obviously cancels your rates. But this is a very important slide, y'all. It's important for 2 reasons. Number 1, today, if you are on basic, for example, first of all, if you're a premium subscriber, you got this. High five. Well played, sir. I'm shaking your hand, and we're all looking at each other, nodding our heads. Good job. Why? Again, you'll see why, but I mean, you already know, but you'll see, because we're giving you an ability to automate the AI, where the AI is basically doing your trade configuration and all the stuff that you have to do manual right now. It's doing it all for you with IB. Everybody who October and November has premium Trade Ideas automatically gets Brokerage Plus for free. We're soon, okay, so this is again why this slide's important. You guys, we're in the middle of a flood. I mean, I was trying to figure out, Brad, which meme to use, Noah or, you know, the Who or iPhone, I don't know. But this one made more sense. But we're in the middle of a flood because so many things are happening technologically on the new versions and all that kind of stuff. So what you're about to see is there's going to be a flood of people who are coming into our software just to get the beta, November and October, for free. And we encourage you to do it. That's why we're communicating this. This is why I'm trying to use humor, so you can kind of get the idea of, like, instead of me drawing silly lines on charts and telling you to, when this squiggly line crosses that squiggly, no, big picture stuff. That's why you're here, okay? We're going to make it easy for you to not to F with squiggly lines very soon. But beforehand, understand that right now, those that already have premium, high five, etc., those that don't, I recommend you get it, because you get it for free. It's very important because November 30th, extinguishment of the freedom. In other words, Brokerage Plus comes out of beta. But there's an interesting thing that's going to happen. We're only allowing, this is the top of the slide here, 1,000 people to buy Brokerage Plus in December, only 1,000 in December at 1,100, back to the $1,100 that we had before. We're limiting this for a couple of reasons. Number 1, we want ourselves to be able to watch and see how more people on the software, how it works with the executions and the results and where things end up, etc. Because, and we also want to give December as a 30-day gateway for all of the people who have been working with us. And we do this a lot. We reward people who have been with us. So you'll be rewarded by having all November, everyone who got Holly and Beta, you get December to play with it yourself. And so what are we automating, guys? This. So all of these things, this Brokerage Plus, automation, and execution, of course you can do stuff with it yourself, but the whole point is you now will not be dexterously, Brad?
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one either. You will not be limited to interacting with the software because you're older, let's say, your eyesight is not as good, or you're not as comfortable going right-click here in this window and right-click in that window. You're not going to be limited anymore. The only thing that's going to limit you now is simply your ability to have an account and have it be open. That changes things completely, which is why we were here. I think this person at the end here is probably okay. But who would not want this is what I'm trying to say, is ask yourself. When we started doing this technology, we said we had planned to not just take part, we had planned to take over. What you're seeing here is kind of like, I don't want to say ugly because it has an aesthetic to it that I kind of like, but this is our original version of kind of like the way trading should look like, where you can see your actual P&L right there, your positions, you know, the way it's broken apart, how you can move around your positions. Your positions are like the Legos or life blocks of your trading life during the day, and you kind of need to be able to move around them, almost like Frogger. Brad, why are you so old?
There's something actually super cool that you're not able to show, but I'll kind of walk you through some of the great features of this particular page within Brokerage Plus. So it's your positions page where you can, look at all the positions that are open or closed, or long or short.
I'm not on the software, right? You know that.
No. But this one's good because it's populated with stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The thing that's really cool is, so we have another field that's probably over to the right there that lets you know kind of the time until the stop is going to occur, because if you wanted to, you could have entered into this position with a time stop, or a stop loss or a profit target. Well, through the right-click menu here, you can adjust all of that, move a bulk group of positions, move their stop, move their time stop to the end of the day, or little things like that. So there's a lot of great functionality that not only allows you to completely automate it, but if you want to treat it like a gray box and have it get you into it and then you manage it from there, it's another option that you can do. There's also going to be some more filtering that we add.
So Brad, thank you. That's a very important thing Brad said. So look, you're going to have the ability. So imagine you're here in NVRO and you're like, for whatever reason, okay, you're like, ooh, open P&L 103. Click, you hit the flatten button. You're done. NVRO is done. You go get coffee, because that's what I do. Talk to your kids. That's what I do. And then you play with your dog a little bit. That's probably what Brad does during the day instead of work. You come back, you can literally right-click on NVRO or maybe press a button that you wouldn't see here that says, like, back in. In other words, get me back into it and let Holly do the rest, in other words. Just use your imagination. So you can interact with it. It's very easy for you to go like, all right, hey, I messed with it a little bit. Okay, put me back in, as if I didn't touch it.
The whole other thing, the right-click menu, that you can customize all your different orders. Maybe you want to get in with $5,000 position or 500 shares. You want to do it on a market order. You have that all kind of pre-configured, kind of like a macro, if you will, and it just through any window and trade ideas, this one included, you just right click and you can put that order right out there super quick with all of the parameters attached to it.
And also think about how we've already thought about the things that that you sort of always wanted to do but hadn't really had anybody do for you, like reverse and double. That's how you need to be thinking. That's where, when I say, Brad, like Frogger, because you can kind of like go to your P&L and be like, okay, half, And, and I'm sick, time, 20 minutes. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go back, go back to your position because you think it's going to break out. Commissions are so low, especially like at Interactive Brokerage or many other places, that's how you should be able to work, and conceptually you can do all of that in this little environment. And we are about to, again, give you the ability to be hands-off on this like your Tesla, where you get in the morning, you log in, and then this is what's going to happen. And that's why, whoops, let me get back here. That's why, again, here, you guys are smart. And that's why I wanted to say that there is an immense amount of gratitude for us to be able to kind of have the early adopters watch as it's all happened. So many of you have been here from the beginning and you've seen the evolution. That's why you're still coming here, or it's my beautiful voice. One of the two. The other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is that we're taking this day trading automation, and of course at some point, very soon, it will really be fully automated where you can go in off hours. Like, Brad and I have talked about this on many Q&As, and we'll touch on it again here. There's an immense advantage to unemotionally scouting for opportunities. And I'll just talk about it real quick, but the idea is that whatever you do yourself, where you use your own AI the way it's best, and we'll show it to you, it's no secret, we've been doing it all the time. Once you put that in, and these are for example, the lines that you can follow then to swing trade those positions. And of course, these are the windows here, for those that don't know, that populate the data that allow us to create the AI. And these limit alerts, these price alerts, those are your, in essence, paper trading swing entry signals. Brad, you are a hell of a swing trader. 358.
Thank you.
But it keeps track of your swing trading position gains. I mean, there's so much. You have so much. So let me minimize this real quick. And I'm gonna already, dang it. That's not it. That's not it. Hold on. No.
What are you trying to do?
Hold on 1 second, Brad. I'll tell you right here. I'll show you.
Not a read.
So one of the other things that we've been doing is we're making progress on the web. So I wanted to show the people, they can't quite get this yet, but this is what's very close to being there. And what you'll notice is this. Notice the web now has basic, I mean, do you see that we are pushing tech and pushing the parity so that really eventually you will be able to trade from the web as well, Brad, right? No, I've never said that. But yeah. You know what I'm saying. You can click on the channel here and notice, of course, you're in the browser. And here we have a slightly different UI for where you can actually see it a little bit better. You know, so you can instantly see both the risk on and risk off, and of course do all the same position stuff. We're going to do a lot of cleaning up here on the web, but just the idea here is you guys can see that you are really not specifically limited to just being stuck at your desktop. Very powerful technology also exists on the web, and again, we've done a pretty laborious amount of work to get function parity between the two. And it's not perfect yet by any means, but just so you guys can see that there's multiple things going on at the same time. So, Brad, any question on the web-based stuff?
I don't have any question. That was a good demonstration. We're getting really close to being able to release this to everybody with all the different AIs. But yeah, there's just so much functionality. These are all, even though he's showing you right now the channel window, which has this layout kind of already embedded into it. You could pop any of these windows out. You could create your own layout along the side of it. we'll be eventually bringing your own custom channels into it like we have with the application, but it's just a process of creating something, displaying it in the application, and then once we like the functionality and all of that, then we port it on over to the web version.
Yep, and boom, and then it disappears, and look at that line, Brad.
It's not getting
Dang it, the line. Okay, hold on. So let's talk about, again, why this line is so long. I'm just going to quickly show you. There's just amazing stuff. Here's the 21 trades that Holly Grail put on today. And this is one of those ones, Brad, that we talk about a lot, why you really do need to, like, this is where flexibility, okay? Money, systems-based flexibility really helps a lot. If you're not emotionally attached to winning or losing, you can get in, be stopped out, and get back in. Because again, you're not holding that past. Do you see what I'm saying, Brad? Why?
Yeah, it's just that's just a victim right there of some early morning volatility. It found that opportunity, but because of that volatility, it just stopped us out. But again, that's why we keep track of these multiple P&Ls, not only from the stop out, but if you were to continue to hold that position, how would it actually perform?
Well, people ask us, and I love how this was playing out. They ask us, does your stock swing trade? I don't know. Does it? What do you guys think? So I hope you understand the significance of what is happening, okay? Because we're unleashing literal hedge fund and portfolio management tech to you, the people.
Yeah, and so, the tech is so amazing. It's not reliant upon a phone call telling you that, I have someone that needs to buy 5 million shares. It's reliant upon us listening to the market, listening to the footprints in the market. And when it sees something abnormal, it knows what to do with it. It has a lot of other variables that it compiles together. But
what about, Brad, the simple notion of, you guys do understand that this system, now it's going to sound weird what I'm about to say, but it can't be fooled. Now, what I'm saying is, of course, it will make mistakes during the day, and it will possibly at some point, although again, has not happened in who knows how long, maybe even have negative outcome to a day, or maybe even 2, or maybe even 3 in a row. But because of the nature of how the information is processed statistically, right? If stocks are generally falling, or if they're generally rising, you can't fool the math. I mean, this software sees it. And that's the questions that we're asking. Hey, stocks, are you generally rising? Are you generally falling? And that's what is underneath all of that kind of stuff. So we always go where the market goes. It will always be long when the market is long, and it will always be short when the market is short or bearish. It cannot be fooled. You guys have to understand how insane
that doesn't mean it won't throw out those I don't know, inverse or alternative trades. Like if the market's short, it's still going to throw out long opportunities, but the real key is that it's using risk management in the process. And so while the original tech of trade ideas was to find something, kind of that initial idea generation, now it's been kind of included with the whole trade management aspect, using risks and understanding how you should participate in the marketplace.
So, Brad, Bill Hedden asked a great question. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So, assuming that you don't have trade ideas at all, I'm going to catch everyone up. You saw me, you saw Brad. Dang, those guys are handsome with their memes with the line. And you see what we're showing you. You cannot take it. I know I can't, and Scott has already bought 2. So you go out and you purchase yourself Trade Ideas Pro. That now gives you access to Brokerage Plus. So when Brokerage Plus gets out and the version that has the Holly automation in it is there, you will have access forever. Next thing, what do you need to do? First thing you need to do is have an account at Interactive Brokerage. Second thing you need to do is that account needs to be connected to a margin, like it needs to be enabled for margin trading. This is the best situation for this type of trading, although you could do it in an IRA, but I'm just telling you for easiness, most likely the easiest thing to do is a margin account. You need to get that margin account API approved, right, Brad?
Yeah, and that's just a request to them.
Right, but people don't know that. We will probably be putting that in some documentation, but that's what you need to do. Once you've got that done, you can basically take any signal when it comes, right click, and boom. And that signal will go to your brokerage, and you'll see it in Brokerage Plus. And plus, we have tons of education and videos to help you get started. But physically, does everybody go ahead, Brad?
It's kind of twofold though. So, Bill's asking specifically about auto trading Holly, and that's what we're talking about, functionality that we're building into the tool. It's not there right now for everybody to use. And so this is kind of the ramp up period. We're anticipating a January 1 release date for the production version of Brokerage Plus. Well, at that time, it will automatically connect to the Holly ideas and give you the ability to turn them on or turn them off and decide which strategies you want to have on. We'll add some more filtering to it, but that's January 1 functionality. Yeah, and the one thing I don't think he said is it is a premium subscription, not just a standard one to use Brokerage.
Right. Well, that's exactly. Brokerage Plus is a part of premium because, if you're trading, you got to have that back testing ability. But we want to keep it simple, guys. We want to get away from you having to squiggle on a chart, because there's no point in that. There's no squiggling that you're going to do that's going to be better than what we're doing here. Zero. It would be like you starting medical school in the 1700s and trying to catch up to an orthopedic surgeon today. Man, that's the best, Brad. That is some good metaphor.
Good one.
It's true. Imagine, because that's the tools. Like when when investors use traditional technical analysis, which is all that's peddled today, every indicator overlay on a chart from Bollinger to Kelter to Wilder to Elliott to Snoop Dogg and Kanye, all of those guys and their indicators, it's just a dog chasing its own tail. There's literally infinite possibilities of indicators. They don't indicate anything, that's why. We do it a different way. No more indicators. Software is doing that. You just decide go, no go. It's that simple. I mean, ultimately, that's all you would ever want. So, with that, it brings me back, Brad. We're back.
Back to the line.
Do you guys understand why and how big this line is going to be? I've been in trading all of my life. And never ever in my life have I ever imagined or seen anything like what we're about to bring to market. So we got the Black Friday line. Exactly. Let's finish up with my good friend Barry. First of all, Brad, our good friend Barry in Canada had some concerns. I want to alleviate his concerns, Brad. Do you know his concerns?
I didn't know Barry was concerned.
He's a concern.
The trade deals or what?
He wanted me to know if I was going to sacrifice him on the Trade Ideas altar and force him to auto trade Holly while his whole minion of people watched as he was the one and only doing it.
Oh,
It was so tempting. I really wanted to. But no, Barry, we're not like that. Barry. Guys, everybody works with the software the way they work. The automation was done not for Barry, but for other people. Barry is doing very well with the way he is, and I'm sure very soon he will be doing it as well. I just know my Barry, right, Brad? It's like, at first, everything we show Barry, he doesn't like it first, but you just wait 3 weeks.
like he's a tough nut to crack, but he's crackable.
We're gonna get you, Barry. We're gonna get you.
No, but the reality is that, look, there's so many different ways to trade. Once you find a successful method, use it and step on it and keep using it.
But we are giving it to you. That's what we're doing. We're bringing that method to you, so it's easy for for you to get. Join us for our event, October 20th, sold out, but tune into the live stream, please. It's going to be lots of fun. Myself and our good friend Jamie Hodge. Sometimes Brad's joined me where, we paddle out in the deep water. Psychology, technology, conspiratology. When in doubt, Brad, don't paddle out. But we've told you some amazing things in there, and continue. Please join us. I think you're going to find the latest and the greatest on that podcast. Our good friend Sean McLaughlin wrote an introductory book that's going to come very handy during Red October, Brad. See that bear?
Yes, indeed.
Is that bear saying trick or treat, Brad? What's that bear after? Is it a piggy bank that bear is trying to get?
Sure looks that way.
That bear is mean. Guys, know what to do when the bear attacks. And by the way, as much as Sean wanted to put it in the book, play dead is not the option in the market. That's not what we advise. No play dead with the market. When the bear comes, there's a way to make the bear your bee. Ooh, Brad, patent that. Okay. Does anybody like Starbucks, Subway, other lunch venues where you can get some lunch? Now you understand what to compare our price to for a day. This is your standard monthly versus premium. Monthly versus yearly. And this is your premium monthly versus yearly if you were paying by day, obviously. But just to give you some perspective. So, for joining us today and listening to myself and Brad and Scott and Barry, we are giving you a discount, spooky savings, 15% off of your first month or year of trade ideas. I am unfortunately very easy to get a hold of on social media at Trade Ideas 1. Scott made me say that. Our normal corporate account is at Trade Ideas. And please, we appreciate it if you like us on Facebook or anywhere else. And if you have any questions, send us an email to info@trade-ideas.com. We are the fastest growing fintech software firm in the world. And nobody knows about it, but you guys, you smart cats. Scott, I think that's it.
That is it. So guys, remember we gave out that code, and we'll have a recording of this up tonight or tomorrow morning and send you an email reminder about how to find it.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Scott. Take it easy, and see you soon all.
Later, everyone.